This video is to go along with your magazine, Make Way for Ducklings. So see if you can find that at your house and get it ready. Maybe get a pencil so that we can work on the back together. If you need to pause the video for a moment, go ahead and do that. And then we'll work on it together. Okay, Make Way for Ducklings. This is a book that I usually read in first grade around Easter time. Of course, we were not at school this year on Easter time. I don't have this book at my house, but there is a book. It's kind of old. It's maybe, I don't even know, maybe 50 or 60 years old. But it is a really good story about a family of ducks who tries to find a good place to live in a town called Boston. And Boston is kind of a big city, but it does have a river and some water nearby that's good for ducks. And it just tells about the adventures of these ducks and how the people that lived in the area helped take care of the ducks, helped them when they wanted to cross the street, and help them find food and things like that. So it is a make pretend story. But the people who lived in the town of Boston wanted to make this story special for them, so they have some statues and things around the town about this story for the ducklings. So let's see if we can work on this together. On the front it says, Last summer, a family of ducks was walking in the middle of a city street. They were lost. This is the true story about the people who saved them. Now, I know there's some ducks here around where we live. A lot of times when we get a lot of rain in the spring, we see ducks. They like to swim in the puddles. And here we see, this is a mallard duck. The girls, or the mom ducks, are usually all brown. They have some speckles on them. And then behind her, you see some of the babies. You can tell they're babies, of course, because they're smaller. And their feathers kind of look fluffier than the moms. Now, the dads have some more color in them, the boys. When you see a boy mallard duck, usually it has some green in it, usually around its head, and its colors are a little bit brighter. So we know that ducks don't, most animals, all animals, don't really belong in the street where cars are and where people are. It's dangerous for them. So when we see animals near the street or in a place that's not good for them, we want them to find a better place. Let's see what happens here. Open up to the inside of your magazine. Maybe. I might have to refresh my computer. Yeah, let's see. Okay, now we'll get to the inside. There it is. Little ducks in the big city. So up top here in the box, it says, look for 4 ways people helped the ducks. So while we're reading about it, think to yourself, was that a way that people helped the ducks? And we're going to look for 4 different ways. It says, far from home. Last summer, a mama duck waddled down a busy street. She had 9 ducklings with her. Cars braked, horns honked. The ducks were lost. They lived in the park. They were trying to get back home. So ducklings is what we call baby ducks. We call baby cats kittens, baby dogs puppies, but we call baby ducks ducklings. Help from kids. A group of kids spotted the ducks. They had to help. They walked next to the ducks. They helped the ducks cross the street. All of a sudden, 3 ducklings were gone. They had fallen through a sewer grate. Down, down, down they fell. The ducklings were trapped. So if you can see in this picture here, the sewer grate, when there's water in the street and it drains down into these grates, it ends up in a big pipe underneath the ground and drains somewhere else, wherever that goes. Now the mom duck can walk on it. Her feet are bigger and her body's bigger and she won't fall through, especially in that little crack there. But the baby ducks are smaller and they can fit down that crack. And this happens kind of often, believe it or not. You see stories about this. But animals don't really know things that people know. And they're not sure about how to safely cross the street or walk on sewer grates. So 3 of the ducklings fell down. Calling for help. A crowd of people looked into the grate. Someone called 911. The police used a tool to pull up the grate, but it was really heavy. The grate fell into the hole with the ducklings. Everyone gasped. Were the ducklings hurt? Saving the ducks. A police officer jumped into the hole. The crowd watched and waited. The officer pulled out a duckling. Then he pulled out 2 more. All 3 ducklings were okay. Off to the vet. People took the ducks to a veterinarian. They got a checkup. Then people brought all 10 ducks back to the park. They were finally home. Stay safe, city ducks. So it shows us in the top picture there, it says this duckling gets a checkup at the vet's office. And down below, the ducks made it home. They swim in a pond at the park. And I think it's going to show us here the ducks swimming. Okay, so we saw the baby ducks following the mom around and eating probably some bugs or little things out of the water there. Okay, so let's get back to this and think about 4 ways that people helped the ducks. I think the first one we saw over here when the kids helped the ducks cross the street. Now, it's really not safe for kids to be in the street either. Hopefully they were with a grown-up or maybe they were older kids. But if they can kind of stand in the street and block the cars, if that's a safe thing to do, or kind of stand in front of the ducks and keep them on the sidewalk until there's no cars coming for them to cross the street. That was one way to keep that people helped the ducks. And then another way is up here where someone called 911 when the ducks fell down. And we talk about how 911 is really for emergencies, like if someone's sick or hurt or there's a fire or an accident. And this might not be the best use of 911. Most police departments have a phone number that's not for emergencies that you can call and they will come out and help. So that's a second way that somebody called for help. Maybe the third way is when the police officer jumped down into the hole and got the ducklings out. Now, the sewer grate is dirty water. So a lot of times it's rainwater, it's things, trash and all that has been in the street gets washed down there. And most people would not want to go down into the sewer. But this police officer did and got the ducklings out. And then the fourth way that people helped down below is when they took the ducks to the veterinarian. That's the animal doctor. And made sure that they were all healthy before they took them back to the park. So people were good helpers for the ducks. All right, so let's see here. If we go to the very back page of your weekly reader, it says, many ducks live in a pond habitat. These mallard ducks do. Look at the diagram and use it to answer the questions. So the diagram is a picture up here that teaches us about the ducks. Up top, this is an adult duck. And you can see that the head of that duck is green, and that means that it is a boy duck or a daddy. Ducks build their nests near a pond. We've talked about this before, how animals make their homes in places where it is safe for them to live. So you can see their nest might be kind of hidden behind the tall grass and near a place where they can find food. And ducks eat lots of things that are near the water. Ducklings can swim right after they hatch. So the ducklings are the baby ducks, and as soon as they hatch from their eggs, they are able to swim and kind of waddle around. They are born knowing how to do that. And over here, it's pointing to the duck that is the girl or the mom. We can tell because she's all brown. A duck dips its head underwater to eat plants and insects. So they eat things that are nearby the pond, little bugs that are in the pond, plants that are growing in the pond. So ponds, sometimes really big puddles, are good places for ducks to live. So down below at number 1, a duck dips its head underwater too. Now we've got to look at our 3 choices. Why would a duck go underwater? Do they breathe underwater? Do they eat underwater? Or do they get clean underwater? We'll look back up at our picture. It says a duck dips its head underwater to eat plants and insects. So now we know down at number 1, we're going to pick eat. That's where they find their food. Ducks do not breathe underwater. They need to breathe air. So they can go down, they can swim, but they do need to come up to breathe air. Number 2, ducklings can blank right after they hatch. So as soon as they hatch from the eggs, can they swim, fly, or lay eggs? What do we see them doing in the picture up here? Yes, swim. So we want to pick S-W-I-M. Swim. Number 3, ducks build their nests blank a pond. Near, far from, or under. Where's their nest? If we look at the picture, it's right next to the pond. So ducks build their nests near a pond. That is where they can find food, so that's a good place for them to be. Down at the bottom, our bonus. Adult male mallard ducks have a green head. So they're talking about the boys, the grown-up boys, have the green head. In this diagram, the male duck is. So up here, the one with the green head, what is he doing? Is he swimming, flying, or eating? In the picture, he's flying. Now he can swim, but
good work.
In the picture, they show us that he's flying. All right, so good work on that. Let's go back and see our video for the ducklings.
What flies, swims, and quacks? It's a duck. This is a duck. This is a duck. These are ducks too. Have you ever seen these kinds of ducks before? They are called mallard ducks, and they are very common in North America. Male mallards have a green head with a white stripe around their necks. Female mallards have brown feathers and an orange and black bill. And they both have blue feathers on their wings. You may see one if you visit a marsh or a pond. That's where mallard ducks live. And if you're lucky, you may see a mother duck and all her little ducklings. But where did all those ducklings come from? They are born in the spring. When the cold snow of winter melts and warm spring weather arrives, a female duck will find a safe, hidden place to build a nest. She makes the nest out of soft feathers she pulls from her own body, along with soft grasses. Then she lays 7 to 15 eggs in the nest. The mother duck sits on her eggs to keep them warm for about 30 days. Peck, peck, peck. The little ducklings use their beaks to break out of the shells. Peep, peep, peep. When they first hatch, the ducklings are wet. But soon they dry in the sun. They have fuzzy yellow and brown feathers called down. Now the ducklings are ready for their first swim. Nobody needs to teach them how. They have webbed feet and can swim right away. They can also find food all by themselves. They scoop up insects, seeds, and little fish with their bills. They spend some of their time in the pond and some of their time in the nest. The ducklings do have tiny little wings, but they can't fly yet. The mother duck will have to protect them for now. Ducklings grow up fast. By summer, they are ready to leave the nest. Their adult feathers start to grow in. Those feathers will help them fly. When the ducklings have both baby feathers and adult feathers, they are called fledglings. But the fledglings still can't fly yet. By autumn, the ducklings are finally all grown up. They can fly. That's a good thing, because winter will be here soon, and they are about to make a long flight south. The ducks will migrate to a place where the weather is warm and food is plentiful. Bye-bye, ducks. See you next spring.
Okay, let's see here. We have our game for today. All right. It says, "Go, ducks, go."
Go, ducks, go! Pick the correct answer to help the ducks get back home.
Okay, look at our sentence at the bottom. Watch out for the little ducklings. We need to pick the ending mark. Should we use an exclamation mark, which means we're excited or yelling? Or should we use a question mark, which means we're asking a question? Watch out for the little ducklings. Somebody's probably upset because they're near the street and might be yelling that. So we're going to pick the exclamation mark. How will they ever get home? What should come at the end here? An exclamation mark or a question mark? Well, if I'm asking how will they ever get home, I want to know. I have a question. Who will help them stay safe? Question mark or exclamation mark? I'm asking who will help the ducks, so I need a question mark at the end. The ducks live in a pond at the park. Period at the end, that means I'm just telling you something. Or question mark at the end means I'm asking something. This one's going to get a period at the end. I'm just telling you where they live. The ducks live in a pond at the park. Students helped the ducks cross the street. Period or question mark. Am I telling you what happened or am I asking something? Yes, we're putting a period at the end. Students helped the ducks cross the street. I'm just telling you what happened. Thank goodness the ducks made it home. The ducklings were trapped. Exclamation mark or question mark? Probably exclamation mark. I'm excited or upset when I say the ducklings were trapped. Where are those ducks going? I don't know where they're going. I'm asking a question, so question mark at the end.
The ducks made it! Good work!
Okay, good work on your magazine today.